we're live, aren't we? Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate your help. So, last day of debates. Everybody, today we're going to be debating plastic water bottles should be banned, prohibited altogether. Plastic water bottles should be banned and prohibited. Over here we have Team Agree. They're going to be making the case that yes, plastic water bottles should be banned. Over here we have Team Disagree. They're going to be making the case that no, plastic water bottles should not be banned. Something other than banning, right? Some other solution possibly, okay? At any rate, so as you guys know, you guys have 7 minutes and 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, bada bing, bada boom. All right. Just to let you know, some students from level 4, 5 are going to come in here and watch you guys. All right. How about this here? You can make sure everybody gets one of these. Here's awesome. Thank you. All right. We'll just do it that way. All right. And coming up to the big podium, ladies and gentlemen, is somebody from Team Agree. Let's give them a hand, everybody. Yay! And whenever you want.
Good morning, everybody. So, I'm on the Agree team where plastic water bottles should be banned. And I've been doing a lot of research and gathering all the data I could find online. And I'll put everything in here and I'm going to read it out to you. And if anybody has any question or if I don't get it, just let me know and I can repeat it for you. So there's no question about it, we live in a thirsty world. Though the United States has access to an amazing water source, both residents and visitors still turn to water bottles and plastic disposable bottles. Yes, it is recommended to have some in storage in case of an emergency such as natural disaster. However, a vast majority of the time disposable water bottles are purchased to drink throughout normal daily life. Although disposable water bottles can be very convenient, that convenience comes at a high cost. Not only can disposable water bottles contain harmful chemicals such as BPA that damage your health, they also have a highly negative impact on the environment. The entire life cycle of disposable water bottles uses fossil fuels, contributes to global warming, and causes pollution. More than 17 million barrels of oil are required to produce enough disposable plastic water bottles to meet America's annual demand of bottled water. According to the Container Recycling Institute, 86% of disposable water bottles used in the United States become garbage or litter, adding 38 billion disposable water bottles in the U.S. landfills. The water bottling process releases 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere annually. Disposable water bottles waste washes into the ocean and kills 1.1 million marine creatures every year. Bottled water is tested for microbes and other pollutants 4 times less than tap water. As you can see, producing disposable water bottles has already done a great amount of damage because 90% of the bottled water cost comes from making the bottle. Thousands of animals, from small finches to blue whales, die grisly deaths from eating and getting caught in plastic. We have all seen the photos. Bird nesting in the piles of garbage along the shore. Fish fattily caught in the discarded netting. And a huge mosaic of debris floating in the ocean. Even more alarmingly, what we see in these pigment images is only a portion of the problem. Approximately half of the plastic pollution is submerged below the ocean surface, much of it in the form of microplastics so small that we may never be able to clean them up completely. Plastic is a human-made synthetic material that was first discovered more than 100 years ago, but did not broadly enter the public sphere until the 1950s. While currently a major culprit in the ocean pollution, plastics are not inherently bad for human or the environment. In fact, in a United Nations report on combating the negative effects of plastic, the head of the UN Environment Program, Eric Solheim, made a point acknowledge that plastic is in fact a miracle material. Fish in the North Pacific ingest 12,000 to 24,000 tons of plastic each year, which can cause intestinal injury and death, and transfers plastic up the food chain to bigger fish, marine mammals, and human seafood eaters. A recent study found that a quarter of fish at markets in California contain plastic in their guts, mostly in the form of plastic microfibers. Gray little sea turtles can mistake floating plastic garbage for food. They can choke, sustain internal injury, and die, or starve by thinking they're full from eating plastic. Tragically, research indicates that half of the sea turtles worldwide have ingested plastic. New studies find plastic pollution is so pervasive on many beaches that it's affecting their reproduction. Hundreds of thousands of seabirds ingest plastic every year. Plastic ingestion reduces the storage of volume of the stomach, causing starvation. It's estimated that 60% of all seabird species have eaten pieces of plastic, with that number predicted to increase to 99% by 2050. Dead seabirds are often found with stomachs full of plastic, reflecting how the amount of garbage in our oceans has rapidly increased in the past 40 years. Americans consumed 14.4 billion gallons of bottled water in 2019, which was up by 3.6% from 2018, in what has been a steadily increasing trend since 2010. In 2016, bottled water outsold soda for the first time and has continued to do so every year since, making it the #1 packaged beverage in the United States. 2020 revenue for bottled water was $61.326 million by June 15, and the overall market is expected to grow to $505.19 billion by 2028. Globally, about 20,000 plastic bottles were bought every second in 2017, the majority of which contained drinking water. More than half of those bottles were not turned into recycling, and of those recycled, only 7% were turned into new bottles. In 2013, Concord, Massachusetts became the first U.S. city to ban single-serve plastic water bottles, citing environmental and waste concerns. Since then, many cities, colleges, entertainment venues, national parks have followed suit, including San Francisco, the University of Vermont, the Detroit Zoo, and the Grand Canyon National Park. Now I know the other side of the team is gonna explain the cons of the banning plastic water bottles. I'm gonna talk about some pros here. Banning bottled water would reduce waste and protect the environment. About 70% of the plastic water bottles bought in the United States were not recycled in 2015, which means majority end up in landfills or in the oceans, harming the ecosystem and poisoning animals. Banning bottled water is good for your health. Bottled water is regulated by the Food and Drug Administration and requires weekly testing. Tap water is more stringently regulated by Environmental Protection Agency through multiple daily tests. Banning bottled water would save money, and public water fountains are convenient and plentiful. Bottled water is expensive. It can cost between 400 to 2,000 times more than tap water, 4 times more than a gallon of milk, and 3 times more than a gallon of gasoline.
All right.
Okay.
Give a man a hand. All right. So, the opening arguments from team agree. I was just gonna say, just as a comment on, how you said it. I mean, you guys can decide whether or not his arguments were persuasive, but I'm just gonna say that was very well organized.
Thank you.
Articulated. I was able to follow just very easily. It was very rhetorical, good transitional phrases.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah. Just you guys decide whether or not that argument is persuasive or not. But now we're going to give 7 minutes to team disagree. Okay. Anyway, let's go. All right.
Let's go. Thank you, Ryan, for all this information.
Yes, sir.
And so why I talk about this is not personal to you. And I like you, your personality, and not like it. But go reality now. Go now in reality. So scientists discovered rice is not good for a woman or anybody. Rice. Oh, okay. Rice is not good for us. Bennett, okay? Bennett rice from your house. Oh, why you eat rice? I just go with reality now. So my question is, why do we use plastic? Why? So, why you drink a bottle of water now? Just answer. Why? Why you choose this from the aluminum or other things? Why?
Actually, the thing is, your team member, Mr. Deshaun, brought me a water bottle.
Just to show. That's what happened next.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
For you, why you choose bottled water? That's or this curse. It's really.
This just a product that I use that because I want water. I don't want the plastic bottle.
Great, thank you. So I go with some information now. Look here. Before plastic, we have glass, steel, even aluminum. So it's crazy. In these three, glass, aluminum, we have a lot of high amounts chemicals. When in 1973, when they discovered, oh, we can put a bottle to water, they put this name, miracle things, because we have a lot of problems with chemical before this time. So now, first, glass. If you have, can you imagine we put in our house, in your school, everybody here with glass, water glass, and like, if you broke, we can hurt, we can, a lot of things. Oh, okay, and what about put the glasses here, and what we do with these all glasses? Oh, we can do something, okay, but with aluminum, require more energy to create, require a lot of carbon emission from companies create these things, a lot of, and so why is excellent plastic with food, for example? I just asked why you banned the plastic with bottle if we use plastic with food, for example. For food, 50% of food in process, 20% is more safe than other things, or aluminum or something like this. This shows us why Bennett. Bennett twice. So Bennett, other thing we do, oh, we have a lot of information about this, man. Our reality is go to school and drink water with bottle, plastic bottle, and that's it. Yesterday, I look in our classes, everybody drink water with bottle. Today I don't know. Not you. I like aluminum too, but do you think aluminum can be a lot of things? And yesterday, most of us have bottled water. Why? Because it's more simple. Other group told about more expensive. It's not real. I have information here between plastic and other things. It's just $0.01 difference. I have here. I show you guys. I can show you, but I will talk about it.
Yeah, sorry.
It's like here, costing just 0.01 more. But plastic is so much more simple and a lot of other things. So that's information. So expensive is not. So I have some research here to prove is a little difference, 0.01. And with this question, okay, it's so expensive yet? Really? I don't think so. So they asked Coca-Cola if they want finish with the bottle. Coca-Cola spent millions in research, and they answer no. We don't ban it bottle for water or for Coca-Cola because we know it's better for us. Thank you so much.
All right, so so we heard the opening arguments. Now that you guys, you have your little survey sheets out there, start thinking about, you probably had an opinion when you came in. Decide which team made the best case for their side, not necessarily the one you agree with, but the one who made the best case for their side. And I just gotta say, as a comment on how you were communicating it, I'm not gonna talk about the content of it, but a good, effective use of engaging with the audience, with humor and stuff, that's very persuasive sometimes, that's really effective in using rhetorical questions and stuff, in effective ways. Now let's give Ms. Carpenter some confidence as she comes up to the big.
Give me a second.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, I'm going to bring my.
All right.
The team already has aluminum bottle.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Of course, as a doctor, I'm going to talk about the health problems that are linked by the use of plastic bottles. After to start my presentation, please keep in your mind these two concepts related with plastic materials. The first one, PTH, a very harmful chemical used, of course, in plastic industry. The second one, polyethylene, or PET, the most common material used for making water bottles. And finally, BPA, bisphenol A. Plastic, one of the most preferred materials in today's industrial world, is posing serious threat to environment and consumers' health. Exposure to harmful plastic bottle chemicals has been linked with severe adverse health outcomes, such as cancer, birth defects, impaired immunity, endocrine disruption, hormone disruption, and developmental and reproductive effects. Research based on plastics proves their injurious nature towards human health, a cause of their materials such as PTH, polyvinyl chloride, also called PVC, widely used material with extensive use in toys and other children products. Growing literature links many of the PTH with a variety of adverse outcomes, including increased adiposity, fat in our body, insulin resistance, decreased level of sex hormones, and bring huge consequences for the human reproductive system. But infants and children may be especially vulnerable to the toxic effects of PTH, given their increased dosage per unit body surface area. Government agencies in Australia, Canada, and in the United States have restricted or prohibited the use of PTH in consumer products. Then, plastic industry start to use PET, the most common material used to make clear plastic bottles in which bottled water is sold, and as containers for soda beverage drinks, and very, very important, condiments such as vinegar and salad dressing. With PET, plastic bottle industry, as said, it's not a source of endocrine disruption and must be distinguished from PTH because it's chemically dissimilar. And indeed, PTH are not used as substrate in the manufacture of PET, but the available research suggests that the concentration of PTH in the contents of PET bottles vary as a function of the content of the bottle, with PTH leaching into lower pH products such as soda and vinegar. Temperature also appears to influence the leaching both of PTH and antimony from PET, with greater leaching at higher temperature. Lower pH condiments such as table vinegar and salad dressing may warrant particular attention. The findings suggest that ingesting several servings of salad dressing that had been stored in warm warehouse from a month might result in a dose of PTH on the order of several hundred micrograms, possibly reaching the reference day dose limit for humans. Then, if drink or consume products which has received these harmful chemicals from plastic bottles can affect our health and possibly cause cancer, birth defects, and endocrine disruption, can you imagine what will happen if we have inside of our body particles of plastic releasing their chemicals most of the time? The study published in the journal Environment International tested 22 anonymous blood samples and found plastic particles in 80% of people tested, indicating plastic particles may be able to travel around the body and lodge themselves in organs.
Cool. Give her a hand. I see how you're all breaking it up. You have an environmental impact and a health impact, bringing in some expertise. That was not a rhetorical device. All right, great. Let's go to Mr. Desant. A hand. He's got 5 minutes. Okay. Anytime.
I'll come to that. I'll surely come to that.
That's a nice.
Hello everyone. So, as we are talking about the impact of plastic bottles, let's make a small initiative at least to ban in schools and universities. During the last couple of decades, people have started using to drink water from plastic bottles as it is an easy way. And people don't know about its negative impact on the environment. Just grab a bottle from the supermarket. Oh, it's very easy, okay? Just grab it. But what will you do after drinking this water bottle? You can see one of the examples just lying in the bin. And from there, it will go either to the landfill or to the ocean. Last year, 22 billion plastic bottles were in the landfills and 8 million metric tons of plastic waste was in the ocean. Only 12% of the plastic bottles are recycled. The rest of it are found in the landfills and in the ocean. Due to the plastic pollution, 1,100,000 marine animals are killed every year. Companies use the term spring and natural water to fool their customers. Oh, this is straight from the mountains, holy crap. Companies use the word PET bottles. PET is a substance used for making bottles which is known as polyethylene terephthalate, which requires enormous amount of fossil fuels, which is not only used in the making of bottles, but also in transporting them. Fossil fuels produce a great amount of carbon dioxide, which increases greenhouse gases, which is a major factor for global warming and climate changes. In Germany, there are machines for bottle recycling. You have on several metro stations in Germany where you get actually paid for recycling the water bottles. You get paid in euros, you get €1, €2, or even you get some vouchers in some places if you recycle your water bottles. A case study by Pathwater supports. Pathwater is like a PUC group in California, which is a group of 14 schools that banned the usage of plastic bottles on the Earth Day in 2019. All of the 14 schools joined the revolution of banning single use of plastic water bottles in their campus, thanks to the wonderful efforts of and the positive attitude from all their teachers and students. The schools were later provided 100% reusable and recyclable aluminum bottles with with free water refill stations. Now students can buy the aluminum water bottle at the same cost of a single plastic water bottle with unlimited free refills. Schools and universities generate 562 tons of plastic waste in California. Imagine if you ban plastic bottles in school, what a big difference it will make. Millions of students are studying in various schools and universities in different parts of the world. So if we take a small, that means that millions of water bottles will be saved by landing up in the oceans and the landfills. So I request everyone to please make at least a small initiative to ban plastic bottles from at least schools and universities.
All right, cool. Yeah, good. Anybody else want to use the rest of the minute? You good?
Yeah, I
All
can
right,
guess.
cool. Okay,
Yeah, I can
Sure.
guess. If we ban bottled water, what will we do? We use aluminum because if anybody needs water, we need one bottle of aluminum for person. Can you imagine in our environment what problem we have with this? Because aluminum, we will talk with aluminum with Mr. Juan, and he expert in this. And okay, we want, if you ban, we need use something to drink water. Yes or no? Or we don't drink more water. We need our glasses or aluminum. And these two is so much more dangerous for us and for our environment from plastic. That's why plastic is a miracle things. Thank you.
All right, so now, we're coming up to the closing remarks, and at this point, you guys out in the audience, start thinking about some questions you'd like to ask. You decide that you'd like to. The last 2 minutes will be made for closing remarks. What was I going to say here? Cool, just so I let you know, I'm hearing it. I'm making the case that we need to put water in something. Aluminum. By the way, it's interesting. Both of y'all pronounce it like the British expression. Aluminium. Aluminium. I pronounce it aluminum. Aluminum. Not a big deal. Americans know both. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know why we say that. Aluminum. But anyway, we got to put it in something. And the environmental impact of aluminum in glass is worse. Is the point you were trying to make there. That's okay. Fair enough. I not thought of that before. 2 minutes for this side over here. Mr. Allow, give a hand, everybody. Okay. Good. All right, here we go.
Hello everyone. How we know we are talking about the water bottle is harmful for us. So again, team who is against of the ban of plastic. Just I want to add some points on these things. So I'm going to start is, even though people are drinking more water to stay healthy, it may not be in the most beneficial ways possible. The dangerous and harmful effects of plastic water bottle include negative impact on human health as well as a detriment to the environment also. Drinking from disposable plastic bottles may lead to chemical leaching, and toxicity. Chemical leaching occurs when heat causes the toxic chemicals from the plastic to be released into the water. That means leaving water bottle outside in the car or taking them with you to the beach or pool could heat them to a temperature that deemed unsafe by many experts in the field due to microplastic contamination. although there have been conflicting data about whether water left in hot weather conditions for a long time is harmful. There is a chance the water you are drinking has trace of lead, chlorine, bacteria, and pesticide in addition to several other impurities that are toxic to your health. Additionally, not too long ago, a study from the University of Michigan revealed consumers spend 300 times the cost of the tap water to drink water bottle. It named the US the biggest bottled water drinkers on the planet, consuming about 61.4 billion gallons a year.
Okay, give your hand, yeah. So I tell you what, yeah, happened yesterday, too, maybe 3 minutes at the end would be best, I'm gonna let you guys have 3 minutes to close up, so yeah, there you go, thank you, sir, appreciate you. Echoing what you were saying earlier. Traces of lead, seriously? Is that real? Okay. Yes, sir. Anytime.
Hello everyone. The conclusion for the plastic water bottle is very easy for me, no? Because the human body is composed of the water in 1%, the 50 and 60% in women and men. The human being in displacement of moments to school, work, and other activities needs to drink water constantly to avoid dehydration. The practical container to transport water is plastic water bottle. It's normal. Physical and chemical qualities is the plastic water bottle manufacturing. Banning bottled water remove healthy choice and leads to increased consumption of the unhealthy sugar drink, for example, Coca-Cola. Other types of the beverages have plastic containers that are more harmful than plastic water bottles, and bans don't necessarily reduce waste. Bottled water is a practical emergency water supply. The cost to produce plastic water is 1 penny. 1 penny.
Yeah, 1 cent.
Ese cost, the plastic water bottle, 1 penny. Because the glass water bottle is similar, 1 penny. The plastic water bottle is more common for transportation. The glass have weight, and the manufacturing the glass is in other place because it more. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Juan. Yeah, cool. Hey, effective use of it, bringing a penny, looking, letting you see it out there, that's a fantastic use, appreciate it. All right, folks, so everybody's had all their time to make their initial cases and stuff. We're gonna open it up to questions in the audience, and I imagine y'all are all wanting to say something back and forth with one another too. Yeah, anybody else want to weigh in with a question, and then these two can talk about it a little bit. Yeah, talks about, we heard a lot of strong case about the environmental impact, the health impact. This Kareem is citing her own expertise as a health professional. That was helpful, and got a good summary over there. We made a good case over here. We're gonna put it in something. Aluminum.
I will go with like if they are saying it should ban, we can say that we can use better plastic for that, so we can recycle the plastic.
Okay. One more time. I'm not sure I understand.
They said we should ban the water bottles
Mhm.
because it's not good for it. But we can use much better plastic for, like she told she uses this bottle, I mean aluminum bottle, but the cap is plastic.
Oh, okay. So you're making the case instead of banning it, use
Better,
plastic.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Anybody?
It's very convenient for us to
So,
go and buy it.
I want to address this because I heard a lot of points about recycling, but I don't know if y'all heard or not, but I mentioned a research from 2017 that said there's 20,000 water bottles sold every second. And out of that 20,000, only 7% is recycled. Does anybody know what's the 7% of 20,000? 1,400.
Yeah.
So if you calculate 5 hours, 100,000 bottles were sold. And out of that 100,000, only 7,000 bottles were recycled. 93,000 bottles ended up in landfill or ocean. If it ended up in landfills, it takes years and years and years to deteriorate. And if it ends up in ocean, you know, I have a lot of vegan friends, and one of my friends is here. I would like to what's your protein source? Fish?
Yeah.
And as we learned, Kareem mentioned that a lot of fishes were found with plastic in them. Now, how would you feel if you know that the fish you ate had plastic in them and it was contaminated? So see, it's all about, I personally, I believe in conservation. The whole process is an ecosystem. I like to fish. I'm a hunter too. So, you know, it's all about conservation, and if it ends up in landfills, it takes years and years to deteriorate.
Go ahead, yeah.
And of course, I know, for example, this bottle has this,
Plastic.
plastic cap. But I have been used this bottle during 1 year and a half, and the amount of plastic that I use is completely different than
Yep.
buy one bottle of water every day. Yes,
Yes,
it's completely different.
Mhm.
And of course, if I bring this, it's because I'm aware about all this situation. And the main point is aware people bring consciousness about the problem that it's not only the ocean, it's not only our health, yes, it's the planet that we are going to leave for our kids in the future. Yes.
Anybody over here want to weigh in with a comment or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what the whole concept is. At least we can start with an initiative. I know overnight changing the plastic bottles into glass and aluminum is very difficult. But at least by starting a small initiative like a small school, universities, can make a big difference in the near future.
The main thrust of your argument was we just say expand recycling, is that right? Is that
Expand
more or less?
recycling,
Yeah.
ban-
Instead of banning it, was your point is, yeah, banning is not a good
No,
solution.
if you ban, then only you'll find an alternative.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
If you don't ban, you won't get an alternative. You start keep continuing buying the bottles.
Well, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else want to?
I would just want to say it. If it's that much of a problem with the environment and everything, it's the government's job to ban and do that thing. It's not the personal thing to do. If the government does that, nobody will buy it and everything will be good.
That's good, but we didn't even talk about the government's role in that, but yeah, that's.
No,
Yeah.
I mentioned government roles,
Yeah.
and I said that
It's true.
Concord, Massachusetts was the first city in the U.S. to ban plastic water bottles and the use of plastic.
Wow.
I mentioned that.
Cool. Good.
And, you know, I learned this, and I mean, it might sound funny, but I never thought about this topic at all, but once I started looking into it, and I mean, it's good to have as in case of emergency, but I personally, we have, if you come to my house, you'll see cases of water bottles in my house. But I read all this, and I honestly ordered a water dispenser off of Amazon.
Wow, oh, because of this?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like we have been growing up, like we've grown up in India, like everyone in their refrigerators and their homes, they have the glass bottles. Nobody uses plastic. Plastic is now the latest fashion, you can say. But as in childhood, we have grown up
In
with
my
only glass
childhood,
bottles.
yeah, we used to glass bottles.
Yes.
Cool, all right. Anybody else want to weigh in with a comment or question out there, huh? No? Not necessarily? No, okay. All right, anybody else want to say anything over here? No, okay, give them a hand, everybody. Yeah, it's really great. A lot of preparation and a lot of useful rhetorical, yeah, y'all can